Lin leaves the dwarven kingdom behind. It had been, 3 months since he'd last checked in? Yeah, 3 months. Long enough for things to either be fine or a total shitshow. When Lin Tian arrived, the tribe looked like someone had thrown a carnival and forgotten to tell anyone it was over. The place was loud. Goblins were everywhere. Not just a few dozen or even a few hundred. Nah, these green little maniacs had multiplied like rabbits on magic fertilizer. Over 50,000 low-level goblins and another 10,000 of the more badass, high-level kind. Lin Tian just stood there for a second, taking it all in like, damn, I leave you guys alone for 1 season and you build a goblin metropolis. Then, no wasting time, he went straight to business. Out came the magic weapons. A saber, a shield, an axe, and a warhammer, all handcrafted from rare minerals, practically humming with power. These weren't just for show either. They could boost and channel magic like nobody's business. Lin Tian handed them over to Gabamad, real calm-like, saying they could act as conduits for all sorts of flashy magical attacks. Next, Lin Tian turned to Gabikind and handed him a glowing spear and a tough-looking shield. He explained that they were called the Athena Spear and Shield, top-tier offense and defense. Then came Gobu's turn. She got a literal world-tier trinket, the tear of the love god. Sounded corny, but holy hell, it was powerful. Basically, if Gobu got hit with a fatal attack, this fancy crystal tear would wrap her up in a shield no one could break, unless, of course, true love decided to butt in. Goblin Slayer got the divine bracelet, which wasn't just jewelry, it was like a Pokemon storage device but on steroids. It could hold up to 6 living creatures inside, all loyal to the wearer, and he could summon them anytime. The best part? They got stronger the stronger their master became. And then came the Blazing God Bow, a weapon so powerful that once it was charged for 3 seconds, it guaranteed a hit every single time. No dodging, no luck, just boom, you're dead. After thinking for a bit, he also brought out a pair of elegant earrings, Kalen's earrings, they were called. Not world tier, just level 11, but still worth a small fortune. He explained the backstory. Some ancient goddess who was so gorgeous the other gods got jealous and, well, offed her. Now whoever wore these earrings would become the most beautiful woman alive. Finally, Lin Tian drew a sword and walked toward Alice. He spoke softly, telling her to take it and use her own strength to master it. The sword wasn't your average blade, it was a world-tier artifact called the Blade of Misfortune, fused with something called the Eye of Darkness. With Jamila's help, he managed to merge them, and the result was terrifyingly impressive. The weapon carried the raw might of the ancient dragon race and had a nasty little bonus, a malevolent spirit sealed inside. If the wielder could tame that evil soul, they'd gain the power of dark transformation, basically turning into one of those ancient war-born monsters that only lived to destroy. Lin Tian knew he wasn't strong enough to control that kind of chaotic power, but he figured Alice might be the one who could pull it off. Alice, though, didn't look thrilled. The weapon practically screamed, "Evil as hell!" And she'd always pictured herself getting something blessed and shiny from the gods, not this. Seeing her hesitation, Lin Tian just shrugged and explained calm and steady that there was a powerful monster trapped inside the sword, and that she'd have to conquer it herself. If it ever ended up in the wrong damn hands, the thing inside could basically nuke the world. The guy explaining this to Alice wasn't exaggerating either. When Lin Tian warned her that if this weapon ever ended up in the wrong hands, the creature inside could bring ruin to the entire world, Alice froze. His words hit something deep inside her, something she couldn't quite name. Her eyes, which had been cold and guarded, flickered, then sharpened with fierce determination. Without a word, she reached out and wrapped her hand around the weapon's hilt. The moment her fingers closed over it, pain exploded through her mind. It felt like 2 massive, twisted forces were fighting for control of her very soul. Through the storm of agony, a vision tore across her thoughts, a monstrous dragon. Then came the voice, low, gravelly, dripping with malice. "Yes, it's you. Take me. Kill. Burn this world in war. Spread hatred. I'll give you the power to stand above creation itself." As the words coiled through her mind, Thin red lines began to crawl along Alice's arm, glowing faintly under her skin like living veins. Her flesh darkened, her eyes turned the color of fresh blood, and for a moment she looked less human, more like the dark creatures of legend. Watching her transform, Lin Tian didn't flinch. Instead, he smiled faintly, eyes gleaming with quiet anticipation. Around them, Gabu and the other goblins stood frozen, pale and trembling. None of them dared to move. Even the distant beasts and humans of the tribe felt it, a primal dread stirring somewhere deep inside, as if their souls were remembering an ancient terror from the age when dark spawn ruled the world. Then something shifted. The voice in Alice's mind, so confident and cruel a moment ago, suddenly hesitated, cracking with uncertainty. You dare resist me?" it snarled. Alice's eyes flared with clarity. Through sheer will, she fought back against the corruption clawing at her heart. Her voice cut through the air, fierce and unshaken. "You think you can tempt me? The gods stand with me!" A wave of divine light burst from her body, bright enough to drive the shadows back. The weapon trembled, the dark soul within it shattering under her power. Even the dragon in her vision lowered its massive head in defeat. When the light faded, Alice was gasping for breath, her chest rising and falling quickly, her eyes still glowing faintly with holy light. "The gods truly have guided me," she murmured, voice steady again. "This is the right path, holy envoy. I'll see it through to the end." Lin Tian nodded, his tone calm but certain. "The gods will always be with you." At that point his doubts were gone. No matter what truths she might uncover later, no matter how much blood had already been spilled, Alice had crossed a line she couldn't return from. The only path ahead was forward, all the way to the end. Just then, Gabu broke the silence, as if remembering something important. "Chief! A few days back, that carnivorous bird lord came by. He looked terrible, one wing broken. Said he was looking for you, but you weren't around, so he left." Lin Tian frowned slightly. "Yeah," another goblin added. "We tried asking what happened, but he wouldn't tell us anything. Just said it was fine." Concern clouded Lin Tian's face. "I'll go to the carnivorous bird tribe myself," he said quietly. "Something must have happened." Following his memories, he made his way through the vast forest of giants, moving fast until the familiar territory of the birdfolk appeared ahead. But the sight waiting for him there stopped him cold. Birdfolk were scattered outside their huts, every one of them wounded. Some had bloodied feathers, others bore deep gashes that exposed bone. When they noticed Lin Tian approaching, they flinched back in alarm. "Don't be afraid, it's me, Lin Tian," he called gently. He'd visited the tribe several times before, so they recognized him. Slowly, their panic eased, but their fear didn't fade completely. Lin Tian's expression darkened as he looked over their injuries. "What happened here?" he asked, his voice low. "Even deep in this forest, who could have done this to you?" Lin Tian was losing his damn patience. "Where's your chieftain? Don't tell me he's the one who got hurt," he snapped, his voice rising like thunder as he scanned the camp. Then out came this trembling bird lady, feathers all messed up, voice shaking like a leaf. The Lord is sick," she squeaked out. Turns out she was the maid of their big-shot chieftain. The mighty bird lord, who used to strut around like he owned the sky, was lying there shaking like he'd caught the chills from hell. His eyes were shut, his breath was shallow, and the worst part? One of his wings was just gone. Lin Tian stared, completely gobsmacked. How the hell could that ever happen? The dude was supposed to be a legend, not a half-winged mess. He whipped his head toward the maid and said, "Talk now." Her voice cracked as she burst into tears. Between sobs, she said it was the Western and Northern lords. They were the ones who did this. Last time they came, they'd already beaten her husband half to death. The poor guy had wanted to ask Lin Tian for help but chickened out, thinking he'd drag Lin Tian's tribe into trouble. So, like an idiot, he went back alone. Then, she said, those same bastards came again, this time rolling in with their whole damn tribes. They broke his wing right in front of everyone and roasted it like it was some kind of sick barbecue. The room went dead quiet for a beat after that, except for her sobbing. She said they didn't stop there. They beat the whole tribe, every last one of them. Lin Tian's face twisted with fury. Those western and northern suckers, why the hell would they attack you? Aren't they scared of pissing off the Great Tomb? The maid wiped her tears, her voice all raspy. Apparently it was all because her husband once vouched for Lin Tian to the Great Tomb, helping him rise to lord status. The jealous bastards never got over it. They wanted payback. Lin Tian's eyes went cold, like frostbite cold. He nodded slowly, every inch of him radiating death vibes. This is on me, he said quietly, his voice low and deadly calm. You all suffered because of me. He stood up straight, the look on his face saying he was about to go full Reaper mode. Stay here, he said. I'll be back soon. And just like that, he stormed out of the tent, no hesitation, no looking back, just pure, grim determination. Whatever came next, those bastards from the west and north were screwed.